How about if we do a quick rundown of the bike? Just a few things I swapped around this time around. Starting up front, I moved my St. Christopher up to the front so he can see where we're going. My patron saint of traveling. Let's see. Moving down to the dyno hub, I found that I don't like the connector that they use, but kind of stuck with it. So I was just really careful with my wire routing, and I expect there was one time I had to stop and fix that. The wires and the connection they use is just a press connection, so it's not super reliable. I had one time on my trip where I had to fix that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, the pickup for my new cycle computer. It's a Sigma. It's got altitude, and this pickup uses a rubber band connection. I've always used zip ties before, so we'll see how that goes. I've got some extra zip ties in case that doesn't work. These are Surly Nice Rack for the front, nice and heavy. I wish it was lighter, but it is what it is. And then I swapped out the brakes for these Tektro. They're long arm. They're fitted typically on beach style cruiser bikes for fatter tires, but I needed the space so that I could fit my fenders under there. So I got that. I got a couple straps up here for holding things on. This is before they changed their name to Sinewave Cycles, they used to call it Bright Bike, but it's the Revolution charge controller up front. It's got a USB connection, and previously I had it mounted up here, and I did not like that at all because the wiring then moves with the handlebars. So I've moved it down onto the head tube. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. GPS. It's a Garmin 62S. I like it. I don't use it that much. I'm going to try to force myself to use it more often this trip because I finally figured out how it can give me turn-by-turn navigation. And although I won't use that on a daily basis, I'll use that in the bigger cities. It really would have helped in Oakland if I would have known what the heck I was doing with it and how to use it properly. The Sigma, it's a BC 14.12, if you even care about model numbers, but it has altitude, which is kind of cool, and it was cheap. It was only like 35 bucks. I made a parking brake, and right now it's holding my change bag until I get some change in there. And then I bought another Velcro strap, and I'm using that as a parking brake. I moved the pump and put it on the seat tube, kind of wedged between the seat tube and the fender, and there's just barely enough room to do that. And I use stainless steel hose clamps. Those actually worked really nice. And I bent the ends in. I don't like hose clamps because they tend to catch things. And so we'll see what happens there. And because I moved the pump back here, it used to be in this location, I put the bottle cage back here. So now I've got 3 bottles of accessible water before I need to get into the bag, the big bag. Here's my Greenfield stand. And on Surly's, there's so much debate on this, but on Surly's, they don't like you putting stands because too many people clamp these things down too tight, and they'll clamp them here and end up squishing the fenders or the wheel stays. So what I did was I used a Dremel tool and ground off the holder for the extra spokes to make space for this, and I was just really careful about not over tightening it. We'll see. I mean, it's been out 40, thousands of miles already, and it works real well. The thing I didn't like about it was the little foot that comes with it falls off within a few days. It didn't take long at all. So my brother had a foosball ball. We drilled a hole in it, a tapered hole, and then I glued that on, and that's been thousands of miles also. So that thing's holding up really well. My flag, let's see, this is a Topeak Super Tourist DX rear rack. It's got the Topeak has a really kind of a nice channel concept here for sliding on and off different bags, and I've got the deck bag that goes there, but I don't use it at all. Trunk bag, I guess they call it. I don't use it at all, but I use it for my panniers, and then some more straps for tightening my deck bag on. I changed my flag tube around a little bit. I was finding that I didn't have a lot of room between here and here for my straps every day, so I cut it down a little bit and just redid the zip ties. It wasn't falling apart or anything. It worked really well last time. I was debating not taking a flag at all, but I want to take a flag, and so I added, this was a t-shirt that was getting kind of dirty, so I made a flag out of it. And I still have, you know, this is like my #1 conversation starter is my flag. People stop me. If they're from New Mexico, they certainly yell out and stop and we talk. And when in Canada, I got a lot of feedback because I'm American and I was running the U.S. flag, and then one guy actually gave me a hard time for my American flag in Canada for some reason. Let's see. Oh, cool stop, brake pads. And by the way, when I switched over to the V-brakes, holy moly, you get a lot more stopping power. Highly recommend that. I did not like the stock brakes that come with the Surly long haul trucker, and I had trouble stopping unloaded, so I didn't even want to play around with trying to see how they worked while it was loaded. Saddle. After having saddle sores for 3 weeks, and then I changed over to the Brooks. It's a Flyer. The Flyer version has the springs, and after 300 to 500 miles, I think it was, it finally broke in. It's not, you know, I still have issues on long days, 70, 80, 90 mile days, and the more climbing, the worse it is. But this saddle saved my trip, and now at least I know how to limit my days depending on terrain and stuff. Let's see, what else? Oh, last trip, let me back up. The Surly long haul trucker comes with the bar end shifters, and for some reason I decided or convinced myself that I didn't like them, so I switched to the down tube shifters, and then 3/4 of the way through my trip last year, I switched back to the bar end shifters, and they're indexed, which is cool. You know, when you get on the Pacific Coast Highway, you're going up and down so much, you're shifting more in one day than you do all week on other terrain. It's just amazing. So having shifted from the down tube day after day after day, I got so tired of having those shifters, and they were friction shifters, which I don't like. I'd highly recommend index shifting because you can make your shift a lot quicker. Because every time you have to shift, you've got to move your hands away from a different location. So anyway, that's the whole deal. I think I covered pretty much everything, and she's cleaned up and ready to go. The Sweet Escape 3, number 3. Getting ready to head out for Bucket List 2.0 around the western United States and Canada, and down the Pacific Coast Highway again, and then potentially down into Mexico.